first graders, welcome back to our read aloud. This is our last story that we'll be reading together for Lionni for our author study. It is Alexander and the Wind Up Mouse. And again, it's by Lionni. And this is our last one. So we talked about how last time he had a Caldecott Honor winner in Swimmy. He also won a Caldecott Honor Award for this book. So let's go look and see what we notice about our Lionni story. We are going to notice his artwork is a little different than Swimmy. It's not as much watercolor, but he mixes lots of materials. The way he does his art in this is he's doing like multimedia, like mixing different things. So sometimes it's watercolor, and sometimes he's using something else. Lots of color in this story, which I love, and I think you will love as well. So let's get started. Here we go. Help! Help! A mouse! There was a scream, then a crash. Cups, saucers, and spoons were flying in all directions. Alexander ran for his hole as fast as his little legs would carry him. All Alexander wanted was a few crumbs, and yet every time they saw him, they would scream for help or chase him with a broom. One day, when there was no one in the house, Alexander heard a squeak in Annie's room. He sneaked in, and what did he see? Another mouse, but not an ordinary mouse like himself. Instead of legs, it had 2 wheels and on its back there was a key. "Who are you?" asked Alexander. "I am Willie the Wind-Up Mouse, Annie's favorite toy. They wind me to make me run around in circles. They cuddle me, and at night I sleep on a soft white pillow between the doll and a woolly teddy bear. Everyone loves me." "They don't care much for me," said Alexander sadly. But he was happy to have found a friend. "Let's go to the kitchen and look for crumbs," he said. "Oh, I can't," said Willie. "I can only move when they wind me. But I don't mind. Everybody loves me." Alexander, too, came to love Willie. He went to visit him whenever he could. He told him of his adventures with brooms, flying saucers, and mousetraps. Willie talked about the penguin, the woolly bear, and mostly about Annie. The 2 friends spent many happy hours together. But when he was alone in the dark of his hideout, Alexander thought of Willie with envy. This word envy, it means to be kind of upset about the good things somebody else has. So the good thing that Willie has is someone who loves him, a safe place, a little bed to sleep in. And so Alexander's feeling a little bit upset about those things, that he doesn't have those things too. "Ah," he sighed, "why can't I be a wind-up mouse like Willie and be cuddled and loved?" One day, Willie told a strange story. "I've heard," he whispered mysteriously, "that in the garden at the end of the pebble path, close to the blackberry bush, there lives a magic lizard who can change one animal into another." Do you mean, said Alexander, that he could change me into a wind-up mouse like you? That very afternoon, Alexander went into the garden and ran to the end of the path. Lizard, lizard, he whispered, and suddenly there stood before him, full of the colors of flowers and butterflies, a large lizard. Is it true that you could change me into a wind-up mouse? Asked Alexander in a quivering voice. He's so excited, his voice is quivering. When the moon is round, said the lizard, bring me a purple pebble. So when it's a full moon, that's when the moon is round. For days and days, Alexander searched the garden for a purple pebble. In vain. In vain means unsuccessful. Like it wasn't able to happen. He just couldn't find it. He found yellow pebbles, blue pebbles, and green pebbles, but not one tiny purple pebble. At last, tired and hungry, he returned to the house. In a corner of the pantry, he saw a box full of old toys, and there, between blocks and broken dolls, was Willie. What happened? Said Alexander, surprised. Willie told him a sad story. It had been Annie's birthday. There had been a party and everyone had brought a gift. The next day, Willie sighed, many of the old toys were dumped in this box. We will all be thrown away. Alexander was almost in tears. Poor, poor Willie, he thought, but then suddenly something caught his eye. Do you guys see it? Could it be? Yes, it was. It was a little purple pebble. All excited, he ran to the garden. The precious pebble tight in his arms. There was a full moon. Out of breath, Alexander stopped near the blackberry bush. Lizard, lizard, in the bush, he called quickly. The leaves rustled, and there stood the lizard. The moon is round, the pebble found, said the lizard. Or who or what do you wish to be? I want to be. And then Alexander stopped. Then suddenly he said, Lizard, lizard, could you change Willie into a mouse like me? The lizard blinked. There was a blinding light, and then all was quiet. The purple pebble was gone. Alexander ran back to the house as fast as he could. The box was there, but alas, it was empty. Too late, he thought, and with a heavy heart he went to his hole in the baseboard. Something squeaked. Cautiously, that means carefully, Alexander moved closer to the hole. There was a mouse inside. Who are you? Said Alexander, a little frightened. My name is Willie, said the mouse. Willie, cried Alexander. The lizard did it. He hugged Willie, and then they ran to the garden, and there they danced until dawn. And there we have it, Alexander and the wind-up mouse. I really love this story in terms of friendship. It really talks about the things that we do for our friends. He really sacrificed, instead of making himself a wind-up mouse, which is what he wanted to be, he realized, maybe that's not the best thing to be, and I'm going to do something for my friend. I'm going to let my friend now be a real mouse and come live with me, instead of me being a fake mouse and going to live with him. So sometimes when we have people in our lives that we care about a lot, we put them first. We think about them first instead of us, instead of our needs and our wants. And I love how the story really shows that. All right, that is our last read aloud for Leo Lionni. I hope you enjoyed all of his books. I know I did. I love everything he writes. And I didn't even read all of his books. He has so many. So if you are interested, maybe this summer, that's something you could do, is go to the library and look him up. Leo Lionni, boys and girls. All right, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.